going to. We good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great. Let's do this and get this up and running. But yeah, that's one that I am definitely going to catch in theaters. I was going to try and hit Timmy up and catch it down in Springfield, but Harry, if you're into that series,
definitely.
I don't know. I was going to say
Take a trip out of it.
Yeah. I don't know if you'd be down for that, but maybe Vi Guy could cut a hole in his weekend to make some time to go catch it with us.
I definitely want to see it very badly.
That wasn't a yes.
No, it was not.
Let's do this.
I'm having a little trouble with Audacity here. Hang on. Gosh, dang it.
Can you guys hear my mouse clicking in the background?
No, I can hear that fan though too.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's not mine.
That's mine.
That's not mine.
It's always mine.
Hello, all you pre-show people. No one's watching yet. Good. Behind the scenes.
That's all right.
So one of the benefits of pre-show.
Nothing.
Yep.
Man, I don't understand.
Be beneficial that we edit.
Someone's watching now. Now they get the behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes. Hey, I'm having trouble with Audacity. Would one of you guys be able, Alex, think you'd be able to record it?
Let's see.
I'm not. For some reason, I keep getting an error on Audacity.
Can you give me a quick tutorial? Do I just open up Audacity and hit record?
Should be able to.
Okay.
With that was one of the advantages to Discord that.
I said I would. But
how do you do a
YouTube and OBS and all this other crap running?
Yeah, no. That's why I was asking Ironclad.
Okay. All right. I don't need to. Just one.
See, mine it's pulsing but not recording.
All right. All right. Sound check. I'm good. Sound check, Wes.
Hello. Here we are. 1 and 2.
I don't think I'm getting you. Hang
on.
Hello, live stream people.
Yep. Oh, that's not recording you.
Well, snippets.
I think it's, hold on. Stereo. That's my mic.
All right.
All right, try this again. Say something, Wes.
1, 2, 3, and 4.
Still nada.
Yes, okay. Christian, this is me. If you are watching, I'm getting your text messages. And my stream health just went to crap.
My PC was acting up this morning too. I had done an update through Windows, and who knows what that causes. Why is it not recording? Stops. Play. Oh, nothing. Well, is there a way to grab audio from YouTube after? Yeah, actually, I know there's a way to grab YouTube audio. I could just grab it from the link once it's posted, and we can do the post edit after that. Yeah. So, because I mean, all this will be on the. Oh yes.
I mean, can you? I guess you can't.
What's that?
I was gonna say, can you give me a quick how your settings on Audacity? But I don't really know. That's a lot of. Could be a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of boringness to do for a show. That's all right. But this will be on YouTube that I can grab later, right, Chris?
Should be, yeah. I don't know how you pull the audio, but.
No, I got away. Ironclad showed me that 4K video downloader still works pretty good. So I like that.
Yeah, I use that a lot too.
So we can do it and grab it that way, and I'll have to mess with Audacity settings later. But that being said, let's get on with the show. And welcome to another installment of Infinite Playroom. I'm your host, Stu Pedasso. Joining me this week, we have Ironclad Meat Rag.
What's up? What's up?
Harry Sactel.
What's going on, guys?
And Vi Guy.
Hadouken.
What'd you say?
Very appropriate. Very appropriate. This week, even though it's been kind of a slow gaming week, there's been a few conferences going on. Of course, the San Diego Comic-Con, the kind of grandfather of Comic-Cons, is going on this weekend. We also have EVO going on in Las Vegas, I think it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, I think last weekend I think it was last weekend, they had Disney Expo, which normally I wouldn't pay much attention to, but since they now encompass Star Wars and some Marvel stuff, it's very interesting stuff that kind of comes out of that. But that being said, let's just kind of jump into what we've been playing lately before we hit some of the gaming news. Vi Guy, let's go ahead and start with you this week. What have you been playing since we last spoke?
Well, since we last spoke, I had just wrapped up Persona 5 after 170 hours. It's a beautiful game. I immediately chucked that across the room and put in Nier Automata, loaned to me by a friend of the show, Sketch Sanchez, and been getting just elbow deep in this game, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. It's weird. It's good, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear it's good. What do you think is better, gameplay? Because it's done by the same crew that did Bayonetta and Devil May Cry, right?
Platinum Japan, correct.
Yeah. They're kind of a big button mash fighter, kick your ass kind of game.
Since this is a Square Enix game, and we all know how Square Enix usually fucks up action games. So yeah, they the original Nier was a great game. I loved it. The combat was slightly clunky. I thought it was fine, but a lot of people complained about it. So this time they brought in Platinum Japan to make it perfect and fluid, and it's perfect and fluid.
Nice.
A little on the easy side, but that being said, I'm only 10 hours in, so it's hard to say if it's going to get harder.
So more action or more RPG?
Oh, way more action than anything else. But, a lot of quests, a lot of people to meet. Well, not people, but androids to meet.
Sure.
Robots to get to know.
How's the character progression?
Oh, it's great.
It's a lot of different builds, like Witcher levels builds?
It's so deep, I haven't wrapped my head around it yet. You've just got all these different circuit boards in your body for chips.
Yeah.
I'm constantly picking up new chips, and I'm not sure whether equipping them would be advantageous because it's deep, and I don't think the game wants me fucking with that at a deep level yet.
Okay.
Because I don't get it, and I think maybe I'm not supposed to get it. But it's a beautiful game. Soundtrack, oh my god. I've probably raved about the soundtrack to the original Nier. This one's done by the same voice crew, the same music team, and it's just like, this is the kind of soundtrack I can listen to all day at work. Not just because it's from a game that I like, but because it's just beautiful.
Yeah. Cool.
Other than that, just fucking around with a couple of Picross games on the old 3DS, and duking it out, playing Injustice 2 all day, every day.
Do it to it.
Yeah.
Nice. Right on. Let's jump to Harry. Harry, how about you? What have you been playing this week?
Oh boy, Wildlands, Worms.
Yeah.
Wildlands has been a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, I've really had a lot of fun with that one.
Obviously, and I know I haven't actually put it up on the stream yet, but I've been playing Banished on the PC for anybody who's ever heard of that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. Also a lot of aggravation.
That's go ahead and describe that for us. What genre of game would you say that is?
It's just like your typical Sim City or
City Skylines.
To kind of that extent, not nearly as extensive, but
yeah,
more or less. Make sure you have enough food and firewood for your people, and if you don't, they start dying very quickly.
Like resource management,
right,
basically.
It's basically a resource management game, and even to the point where like you kind of have to pay attention of how old the children in your town are, and then once they hit 10, they're like able to like live in a
Start
house
working
together.
in fields.
That too. But more importantly, you want to keep growing, because as soon as you stop or your population gets too old, that old will die off, and then it's hard to build that young back up again. So you just got to keep it going, keep rotating, keep building, keep making outposts. That's how I do it.
That's cool.
But
nice.
fun. It's fun. It'll be on the stream here in a little bit.
Okay. Good to hear.
Which I might actually have to kill and restart because it's being stupid.
So it goes. All right. Well, fair enough. Well, if you're catching us on the stream, we sure appreciate it. And like I said, feel free to comment in the chat. Harry's going to keep us posted if you have any inputs. If you'd like to let us know what you've been playing this week, let us know your thoughts, and we can let you know if it's something we've experienced, and kind of bounce that off us. We would appreciate that. But Ironclad, what about yourself, sir? You've been had much time for gaming this week?
It's been a little bit of a slower week. I just got back from vacation, so I had to ramp up a little bit with work to get caught up. But other than that, I took another break from Battlefield just because, I don't know, it was kind of having troubles again, so I kind of just took a full-on break from Xbox entirely and went back to my PC.
Okay.
And then there's it's been a while since I talked. The last time I was on here, the Steam Summer Sale was at its prime, and I picked up only a few real big, but I was still a Plus member. Okay. And that every time you're a Plus member, you get all this DLC for free. Okay. And I was like, well, I never played it, and there was like the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild, so I went back and started playing that and doing some of the DLC on that, and then just kind of playing just a lot of ESO and a lot of Elder Scrolls. Actually, entirely, I picked up the free-to-play card game that they released, Elder Scrolls Legends.
Yeah, Legends. Yeah, I've been enjoying that myself. I like that.
Mm-hmm. And from a couple of reviews I heard, people liked it, said it was a good card game, but like they're kind of picking it apart. Not picking it apart, but they were kind of giving it a bad review just because ESO or Elder Scrolls has just this gigantic lore, and they kind of just don't let it into the card game. Like they said, like there's like, everybody uses this as the example, but there's this book that floats around in almost every single Elder Scrolls game called the Lusty Argonian Maid, and it's just this book series that's almost in every Elder Scrolls, and it's just about a maid that's a hooker, I guess. I don't really know. I didn't really read it, but I thought it was pretty funny. And they don't put it in the game, but I still thought that like the music and the lore and the storytelling and the cards even, and each card when you play it has a little dialogue, kind of like the other card games, and I think it fits really well. And I'm definitely stoked. I haven't been able to put it down. It's able to run really well on my extremely crappy laptop that I have, and I can play it whenever I'm just got that with me. So yeah. I really like it. It's a great game. I think it's going to be my Hearthstone, basically, if I play enough of it.
I will say that it has consumed some of my Hearthstone time, for sure. Yeah. And very much like you, even though the lore may not be all-inclusive, just as the Hearthstone lore isn't all-inclusive from World of Warcraft, there's still enough lore there that I appreciate. And like I said last week, I really prefer the Elder Scrolls lore over the World of Warcraft lore, personally. So I really enjoy it, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So. And I'm glad I'm getting into it as early as I am right now too, so I could like that was always what was intimidating for me when it came to Hearthstone. Like they're releasing these cards that I just got because I'm a beginner, but they're not allowed to play in these new maps and stuff like that, or new seasons or whatever they call them. And I'm just like, well, I just got this card. I worked so hard for it, and I can't use it. So I'm glad that I'm getting in early, that I can get like this deck built.
And the end of this month, Legends should be coming to mobile devices as well.
Oh my gosh, can't wait.
So I think that'll really help it along the way, once it's tablets and smartphones and things like that. So, but right on, man. Sounds good. Anything else before we move on to what I've been playing?
That's about it.
Okay, cool. Similar to what Harry had mentioned earlier, Wildlands is probably where I spent most time gaming this week. It's really everything I wanted The Division to be. The Division feels like such a corridor shooter in comparison, even though it does have some open spaces in the city that you can navigate through. But it just seems so limited in comparison to what Wildlands brings to the table. And when you get a group of 2 to 4 people cooperatively working that strategic environment, it is a hell of a great experience, I gotta say. A lot of fun, a lot of weapons. The fact that the open world really allows you to explore as you desire really says a lot. It says it's a lot of fun. I wish the Division had vehicles in it. I get why it doesn't, because it's such a limited space to play in. But the vehicles in Wildlands is amazing. Like everything from tractors to mopeds to choppers of all sorts. I mean, airplane. It's just a good time. It's like the best of Metal Gear Solid mixed with Grand Theft Auto, if you will. Like it's just a good time. So I've really been enjoying that a lot, and so much so that after I played, Harry and I played, I don't know, when was that? Like Thursday night, I guess, for a bit. And yesterday I got on with the buttery one and one of our other friends. So it was a 3-man crew, and we were making some headway in the story, making a push to take down this Bolivian cartel, and I don't know. It's just a lot of goodness. Play it with friends if you can.
Yeah, and it was on sale. Like Xbox actually had a pretty big summer sale too, and it went pretty low.
That's when I paid it. $38 is what it was.
Yeah,
and, I mean, for a $60 game, that's well worth it in my opinion.
Yeah,
so.
I should have grabbed it, but I don't know, man. Just like whenever we played that open beta, something just didn't speak to me when I played it. I don't know what it was. Couldn't really explain it, and I wish I would have.
Well, I don't know. I haven't followed it since the beta as far as keeping up with what changes they made to the gameplay or anything, but it feels better than what it was. I mean, the driving's still loose, looser than I prefer, but that's really my only qualm. Well, that, and you can't shoot through objects. That kind of bothers me.
Yeah, that's weird.
But other than that, I'm not disappointed with the experience. I think it's actually improved over what the beta was.
Interesting.
So, yeah, if it comes up on a sale again, definitely worth scooping it up because it's a good one to play. And the map is huge. I mean, this is one that I try to hold off the story missions for when I'm playing with other players. I don't really solo the actual story missions. Now, I'll do all the side missions as far as getting gear and accessories for your weapons and stuff like that.
Right.
I'll do that solo, but I'm trying to hold off in the story mode until I actually have people to play with. So
interesting.
Yeah.
So it's good to have a good co-op game.
Oh yeah, and this is probably the best one I've played this year. So yeah, worth checking out. Also, as Ironclad mentioned earlier, Elder Scrolls Legends. I've been working my way through that story. That story campaign is so robust, so good, and it actually makes sense. I really wish it was something that Hearthstone had, as far as a true like narrative to that story.
Yeah, there wasn't much of one. There's just kind of play each class that Warcraft has to offer.
Yeah, now they do come out yearly with their standalone. They're not expansions, but they're like adventures, I think is what they call them.
Oh, okay.
Or they used to, and I don't know if they're going to continue with that. Like I said, I've kind of fallen off the Hearthstone boat a bit, but
at least you found a good or decent replacement.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying Elder Scrolls Legends a lot. There's not too much I can say that you haven't said about it, so I won't dwell too much on that. But there is a companion app to Ghost Recon Wildlands that I've been messing with on the phone, and I always have trouble doing any type of companion app connectivity. I think it's because my Xbox is hardwired, whereas then my phone is on the Wi-Fi network. I don't really think that should be an issue, but for whatever reason, I think
Is it? Do you tie them to each other? Is that how does the companion app?
Yeah, it prompts you for the IP address of the box. So I mean, if you have that, it really shouldn't be a problem. But every time I try it shoots back some error or something.
That's a shame.
I'm like, yeah, but I do like the effort that Ubisoft has put in here for, for a companion app that actually affects the main game. Basically, as you run missions in the companion app, you can accrue skills and rewards that you can transfer to the main game. In order to advance or level up your character in the main game of Wildlands, you have to collect certain types of supplies. So there's like food, gasoline, meds, something else. I don't actually remember.
Yeah, I remember that.
You need so much of it in order to buy particular upgrades. And so this companion app actually allows you to transfer ones that you find over into the main game if you should happen to find some in the companion app. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Well worth it. And if I could ever get it to work. But I had that same trouble type of connectivity issue with Fallout. Whenever you could download the Pip-Boy app to your mobile device. That was pretty cool, but I think I only got to work like a handful of times, if that. So
yeah.
But in any case,
good, though. I don't know, man. Those companion apps, even though they're some kind could be pretty much useless. Just even the stats ones, I always fall in love with them.
Love that for sure. I just think it's the most underutilized opportunity that game companies have, and I get it. It's probably a big expense to try to develop something for that, especially because people probably aren't purchasing much on the app. It's probably just a way to throw money at something that is nice for the consumer, but you know, you're probably going to buy the game whether it's got a companion app or not. So
pretty much.
And then, like I said, as far as the Wildlands one goes, there's no way to purchase anything that I've seen in the Wildlands companion app, so it probably is just a money sink for the company, which is probably why they don't make more effort to make it better. Not that it's horrible, but obviously there's some issues if it doesn't connect the way it should, based on my understanding. So, but in any case, that being said, I what else have I been playing? Nothing else of note, I guess. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've still gotten in my Hearthstone games and been messing around with, of course, Pocket Mortys now that they have the multiplayer, which is a little different. I messed with that a little bit yesterday. Not really sure I understand the full extent of how it works, of course, since I don't have any other friends. Harry, are you back with us yet? Okay.
Swing and a miss.
Yep. Par for the course, I guess. Hopefully the stream is still up and running. I don't know. Let me check this. Is it, any of you guys watching the stream?
I'm not, unfortunately.
Okay. I mean, I left my phone upstairs, which is typically how I follow it. But yeah, Pocket Morty's definitely worth it. The new season of Rick and Morty starts the end of the month, so check that out. All right, let's get into gaming news. I can't really think of other stuff I've been playing worth talking about. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, there we
go.
Let's see.
I turned my mic down like a ding dong.
Oh. So you were answering. You're like, why are you talking over me?
I'm actually just like sitting here playing Banished. For real. So I'm like, hey guys, I'm playing Banished. It's on the stream now.
Right on. Well, one thing that came out of the Disney Expo that was held in Anaheim earlier this week, I believe, is that Lenovo and Disney have teamed up to develop their own proprietary headset for augmented reality. Now, personally, I think augmented reality has more versatility than the virtual reality that is probably more readily available. I don't know of any augmented reality headsets that are currently on the market. If they are, they're being overshined by like Oculus and the Rift, the Vive, and the PSVR headset. But
I'm imagining a headset with goofy ears dangling on either side.
That react to your emotions.
That's funny. Well, in the video, it looks a lot like a PlayStation VR, from what I can tell. Like I said, it's just a short little video. But anyway, Disney showed a short video featuring the game's concepts, including a massive ground battle involving soldiers and AT-ATs. Kind of like the Gear VR, the headset will require a smartphone to work. So it doesn't look like you slide it in front, since obviously you see through a lens. But, you know, the fact that it can be powered by a smartphone means you probably shouldn't expect too much, I'm guessing. They also announced Hollow Chest, a game being seen played aboard the Millennium Falcon by Chewbacca and C-3PO in Episode 4. It will be recreated for the AR headset. True fans know that Hollow Chest is just a catch-all term for a holographic game in Star Wars universe, not an actual like holographic chest. But in any case, I think that's a pretty cool opportunity for them to take advantage of as well. Let's see what else here. Vigai, you got some EVOs going on, as we mentioned earlier in the episode. This weekend in Las Vegas, which is a premier fighting game tournament. You got some news for that about us?
Yeah, it's all in all, it's only about half over, as today is Sunday. But yesterday and last night, quite a bit of action in the Injustice 2 world, which is really the only game I'm following this year.
Okay.
You're probably not surprised to learn.
No.
So, traditionally, for the last, I don't even know how many years, for the NetherRealm circuit, which has always been Mortal Kombat 9, Mortal Kombat X, Injustice 1, or Injustice 2, Sonic Fox, this skinny kid with Sonic Fox is the name
competitor.
of this competitor. He's this furry. He wears a blue furry cap with dangly ears. Speaking of dangly ears,
I already love him.
But he's really young. He's really talented. He gives a lot of hugs, and he's very anyways, that's if you don't know who Sonic Fox is.
Where's he from?
I believe he's from Michigan.
Oh.
He's by a landslide the best Injustice player in America. I don't think anybody would have the best NetherRealms player, because he always takes the cake in either one, especially Injustice. Anyways, long story short, he did not take the cake this year. They're in a little bit of an upset. One of these guys has always been vying with him all these years, a Canadian named Honeybee, who became famous with his Devora in Mortal Kombat X. He was really the only top-tier competitor at EVO or any of these other tournaments who could really handle her. She's so complex. But his corner game is top-notch, and he was using the Flash this year at EVO. The new and improved the Flash. Flash wasn't too great in Injustice 1. He used him back then, and he's using him now with all his new tricks. And he was just cleaning up everything. He was beating Sonic Fox's Red Hood. He was taking out Superman and Batman left and right with the Flash, which is a surprise to everybody watching, because the Flash is not considered a top tier, considered maybe a bottom 5 tier character. So he was just kind of surprising everybody, climbing through the ranks, and I was pretty sure he was going to be the champ. But at the end of his run, near the end of his run, he ran into Dragon, who's always been another contender, who was using Aquaman, and he shut down. He shut down the Flash three fights in a row.
Wow, really?
Anyway, after all the loser brackets and winner brackets and battles and rebattles and all that, it all came down to not even Sonic Fox in the final match. It was Dragon versus Honeybee. Honeybee deserved it, but Honeybee had given up on his Flash at this point, so he made the dumb choice of choosing Aquaman, which is his opponent's main.
No. You can't do that.
Well, the Flash wasn't working. He got shut down 3 times in a row by that same
Aquaman. But just in principle of tactics, you got to understand that he knows the character better than you.
It was made pretty plain that even though his Flash was phenomenal, he was hitting a brick wall, and he did not have a good pocket character. So instead, he decided to fight fire with fire. Thought maybe he could take out his opponent's Aquaman with his own side Aquaman, and it just didn't happen. He got shut down by the pokes of Aquaman's trident.
Rough.
So the winner of the Injustice 2 EVO competition this year, not hugely popular because a lot of people don't feel like he earned it. A lot of people feel like that particular Aquaman move he kept using over and over needs to be nerfed, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was.
So what did he win?
An all-expense trip to Golden Corral. I don't know. I don't really know what he won, because at that time I was just like everybody else in the crowd bet.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
The skill,
Now,
the skill lost to just repetition of special moves.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that's got to be frustrating for.
But that's part of the game. So.
Yeah. Yeah, learning to combat that. So let me ask you this real quick. I know that individual won, Injustice 2 as a whole, but how do they determine like the overall winner for EVO?
I don't think they do.
Oh, so each one is just standalone.
You can't pit one game against another.
Well, here's what I was thinking. Very much like.
Now, sometimes you get competitors who will play, and like sometimes you'll get somebody who will play in Tekken 7 and Street Fighter 4. They might, if they're good enough at both, they could rank in both of them, earning themselves probably more points by doing that.
Well, I was just thinking, like, in the Olympics, you have like a decathlete or one of these other type of athletes that participate in multiple events. I was wondering if they had something like that, where it's like, all right, well, you get points for your Smash tournament, you get points for your Injustice tournament, you get points for your Tekken tournament, and Street Fighter tournament. Calculate
then you gotta SX Tricky down this hill, and then you gotta jump on this fucking
right.
You gotta jump on this Call of Duty thing and just shoot one shot like they do in a decathlon.
Something like that. Yeah.
Gotta no scope that ass, or
of all trades.
If you can't just no scope that one headshot, then you're out of the decathlon.
I don't know if it'd go that far, but I do think there should be some type of jack of all trade type of competition as opposed to specialized, endeavors. I think that. Don't get me wrong, you still got to have the specialized. You got to have your opportunities to shine, but I would like to see something kind of like that. Why is there no video game Olympics? A true video game Olympics. That's something we should have.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
Maybe someday.
I mean, that's what esports is. Yeah.
It's taking off. It's a real thing. So.
It is. Speaking of esports taking off, this kind of leads us into a story. Of course, it would crash just as I go to it.
Of course.
So, Overwatch, Blizzard's MOBA, first-person MOBA experience, I guess is the best way to describe it, is named its first 7 teams and cities that it's representing. I think this is a really smart move on Blizzard's behalf to try and, I don't want to say legitimize, because to be honest, I don't know how much more legitimate this is than the previous one. But let's see. So Blizzard announced an esport initiative known as the Overwatch League last year at BlizzCon. They finally revealed the first 7 teams and the owners set to represent the league once it officially does begin. Let's see. They have a commissioner, Nate Nasner. The first 7 teams were announced. 5 teams are located in the United States, including Boston, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Miami, Orlando. Then there are other teams from Shanghai and Seoul, which make up the 7. So I think tying these teams to cities is really going to do a lot for the esport community that can rally behind their said team. Obviously, these teams are, I don't know, I guess if I've never lived in any of I've never lived in Boston, New York, LA, San Francisco, or Miami, so I can't really speak to having any affiliation to them directly, but at least it kind of gives you something to kind of tie to, almost like an NBA team or something like that. Do you think this is a right move for esports, or do you think the way it was going before, where you just kind of really related to players, is a better a situation, perhaps?
I think that this method's better for both the game and players that want to try and join it. Honestly, I don't know. I just like this method better than, like, you know, they waited and then they announced them all together. It's kind of cool method of looking at it.
I feel like the new team method would have made more sense before the internet.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because, you know, if you just now that most competitive play happens online from one home to another, as much as it would make sense for all the best Street Fighter 4 players in Cincinnati to meet up every Sunday and play each other, and make a team out of that, you know, get the cream of the crop, take that to the big national. It's just not how people play anymore.
True.
Yeah, that's true. And it makes me wonder, if you are affiliated with these teams, are you going to have to be in those teams? Because obviously when you're playing online, you can play from anywhere. You know, you can live in Missouri and play for a Chicago-based team or a New York-based team and not really have any real disadvantage. I will say it does seem to be gaining some legitimacy, as initially reported. Robert Kraft, owner of the NFL's New England Patriots, actually purchased the rights to the Boston based Overwatch team. Jeff Wilpon, the current COO of the New York Mets Major League Baseball team, is in charge of the New York City Overwatch team. So to kind of get some type of experience, I'll say, coming to esports from already established professional sport leagues, I mean, that's got to mean something for it. You know what I mean? At least as far as marketing goes. So I really expect this to really do a good job of shining a light on esports as far as legitimacy goes. But I will be interested to see how they recruit their said players. If they're going to say, hey, this is the region we're recruiting from, you got to stay within so far of these cities, or something like that. Even though, you know, technically it wouldn't make sense that that's a requirement, but But in any case, I think that's something that esports had a long time coming for, so I think that'll be interesting. One of the last articles I want to mention before we give this one a shove out the door. A while back we were talking about Marvel doing a VR title. We got some word from Oculus. It's called Marvel Powers United VR, in which teams of players assume the persona of various Marvel characters and basically fight bad guys and their signature powers and moves. So almost like a first-person Marvel Heroes, or Marvel Heroes Omega, which we talked about last week, recently coming to console. But this is, like I said, in a VR experience. So the announcement trailer showed 3 players, a motorcycle repairman, an artist, and a business traveler, all very young gamers. They don their secret identities as they put on their Oculus Rift headset and touch controllers to throw down as the Hulk, Rocket Raccoon, and Captain Marvel, which were shown in the demo. It stands to reason, obviously, they're going to have more than just those 3, but I thought those were an interesting pick. A news release mentioned a mission-based wrapper for gameplay. Marvel said villains will appear in it as well. So, once again, this was information coming out of the Disney Expo, which happened last week as well. But the players with ranged abilities project them through their hands. The Hulk through his fists, caught projectiles and hold them back at the goons. You know, when you're talking about VR, it's always interesting to see how that interaction actually goes. I think with E3, we saw that like Skyrim and Fallout are going to have PlayStation VR support and experience, and Rift experience as well. So, or Vive experience. I'm not really sure how you want to look at that, but to see something like this applied to superheroes, I think that's really shows the potential of what VR is going to be capable of and offer. So I don't know, we'll stay up with this and see what other news might come out of it. But
hopefully it's the start of something.
Hopefully hopefully, I like I said, I do think there's potential there. I think they're just gonna have to work out not only the accessibility to your common gamer. I think a price point like this, even though they either need to come out with a VR headset that is its own console, where I don't need to plug it into something else to experience it. You know, Viga, I think you sent us a clip of some footage from Ready Player One.
Yeah, screenshot.
And I thought that looked pretty cool. And I think that's what it's going to have to get to, where you don't need a TV, you don't need a laptop, you don't need a computer. Basically, it's all contained within the headset that I can slap on and experience it wherever I choose to. You know what I mean? I think something like that would really make the accessibility a lot more viable for your everyday gamer. But right now, if I got to throw down money on a console that I can play games on, and then plop down even more money for a headset, I'm a little more hesitant. I'd rather spend that money for the headset on games that I can play without the headset. You know what I mean? Because for the price of a headset, you can pick up 5-6 games. So, well, why not?
True.
Truth.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see. Let's go ahead and wrap up with this is kind of our off-topic nerdy comment on perhaps outside of the realm of video games. But is anything else making you guys happy this week in the world of nerd news?
No,
yes.
this is all that. Video games are all that matters.
Yes. Anybody who watches Doctor Who, they have announced the 13th Doctor, and it is a female this time around.
That's a
first.
Women can't be doctors.
Yep, but they are now. Jodie Whittaker is her name.
Oh, have we seen her in anything before?
You may have. I personally went through her IMDb, and I didn't see anything.
Right on. British, I'm assuming?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right on. Huh. How you feel about this? I know you're the biggest Doctor Who fan of the crew.
As of right now,
Skeptical?
I'm intrigued. No, but I
Hopeful?
knew that it was going to happen at some point. So
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, I hope that it's good. I hope she kills it and blows it out of the water. Now, does it have that possibility to just completely suck ass? Then yeah, it might. But
Yeah. Now, this last Doctor, I can remember when they announced the last Doctor. He didn't seem to. Do they typically only do it? Was it 3 years ago?
yeah, something like that.
2 years ago? Is that average for
Yeah,
a
that's
Doctor?
right.
Okay. How did you? Who was it? Who is this Doctor? The current Doctor.
Capaldi.
14th?
Capaldi. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. How do you like his performance?
It was. You know what? It wasn't as good as some of the others, but it suffices. You know, really, anybody will tell you that David Tennant and Matt Smith were the ones that really killed it recently. And even Chris Eccleston in the first one. I kind of wish they would have had him there longer.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I'm not familiar with the Doctor Who series, but David Tennant had quite the record before he started Doctor Who.
True.
He's a pretty renowned actor at that point.
Of all the recent Doctors, he is really, the more substantial one out of the whole group.
Well, he's just a hell of an actor.
Yeah,
too.
he's a great actor. You should check out some of his other stuff. It's killer.
So, do you think there'll be I mean, will they write that into the show? Like, how does? Because I know that the only thing that I know is that they reincarnate.
Yeah,
but like this will be the first as a woman.
Like,
how that?
This is gonna be a really weird one because they can. How's the fuck does this work?
Has the Doctor ever had love interests in any of the past?
Yeah, a couple. Seasons? But I mean, they're only supposed to be able to do that 13 times. So I don't know how they're gonna work that into the story this time around, and maybe that
is this the 14th time?
I think so. It's either the 13th, so this will be the last time they're gonna be able to do it, or maybe the fact that it's a woman now has something to play into, like, well, we broke the barrier.
This could
now
be
we can do 13 women.
Right.
A new this could be a new Time Lord, maybe. Well, he's the last Time Lord, though, isn't he?
No, actually, if you watch the series, he's not.
Okay. So this could...
He is for a long time, but then a few others rear their head. One of them's evil. Without giving up too many spoilers.
So this could be a new Time Lord that's picking up the mantle to give them basically another 13 opportunities, if you will.
Could be.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Could be. I don't know. I'll be curious to see how they do the story. And I'm pretty sure I still got to finish the last season, so I'm not really sure where we're at. You know,
I have literally like very, very limited knowledge of Doctor Who. What is his what's the plot of the show? Like, what's the Doctor's objective?
To basically protect Earth, and not only Earth, but just be pretty much an all-around good guy. But yeah, to stop pretty much any. I mean, it's not always on Earth, and that's the thing that's cool. You know, he's traveling through time and space. He's all over the fucking place.
And he's just like protecting the entire everything from evil, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But, you know, but then the characters they introduce, like all the different aliens, creatures, subterranean, this, that, whatever. There's all sorts of stuff, man. But it's a good series. It's something that if you can get into, I mean, I would definitely start from the beginning. Start from season 7, I think it was, when they brought it back, and that was
because it had like a 10.
It had been gone for a while.
Yeah, I thought it was like 10 or 15 years before they brought it back and revamped it, kind of.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's a good one. Well, I gotta say that my nerdage that's making me happy this week. I recently finished first book in what's called the Mistborn series. It's kind of like a fantastical Ocean's 11, which I enjoy fantasy a lot.
Isn't that one called The Way of the King?
No, actually, this is that was the one I finished previously called the Stormlight Archives, by the same writer, Brandon Sanderson, and I'm waiting on his third book from the Stormlight Archives. But the Mistborn series was a trilogy he had done.
Oh, that's his old work. That's his old work.
Yep,
that's right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, and so I got into it. It's much shorter. It's about half as long as one of his Stormlight books, but just as good. Very entertaining. Very, like I said, very Ocean's 11. They're planning a heist, and I don't know about you guys, but I love heist movies and stuff like this. So, to really kind of get into that as the thing that I really enjoy is how he explains mysticalness and magic in this world. In this one, there's users called allomancers, and their powers are tied to different types of metals that they basically ingest, and they quote unquote burn the metal to access powers. And I think that's pretty cool. So like iron, copper, steel, gold, they all provide you different abilities, and most people only have access to one. But very rarely there are individuals who can utilize all the metals, and they're called Mistborns, and that's where the name of the book comes from and whatnot. But I just finished the first one like 2 days ago. So good, well worth it. It's really bringing a smile to my face. So check this one out.
Or audiobook.
Audiobook. It is an audiobook. I do a lot of driving for work, and I don't know if you've ever tried driving and reading at the same time.
No, I'm asking because I'm more interested.
A lot of people are hurt.
Audiobooks.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, audiobook. I actually subscribe to Audible, who is not yet a sponsor of the podcast, but
clock's ticking.
Clock is ticking. There are many podcasts that they don't support, so eventually it'll get to us.
They were one of the first too.
Oh yeah, for sure. That and like Nature Box.
I mean, Nature Box eventually came, but I feel like Audible might have been one of the first. Makes sense.
Sponsors. Oh yeah.
Don't forget about MeUndies, Dollar Shave Club, and Harry.
Yeah. Spoken as a true podcast fan. That's awesome. But yeah, like I said, basically Audible $15 a month does seem somewhat steep, in my opinion.
Especially because it's for one audiobook a month.
You do, but becoming a member does give you access to obviously discounts to purchase others and whatnot like that. But I mainly did it for the Stormlight Archives because one of those books is 40+ hours of listening. So
yeah,
like that's a lot of listening.
It's funny that you bring that up too, because I'm actually doing actually 2 of our topics, but that's kind of weird. 2 books I have been reading recently is one's a Stephen King novel, which I didn't know was panned as one of his worst of his work, because
really, which one's
so
that?
far it's not bad. It's that's the thing. I forget off the top of my head. Because I put a break on it because I guess it is. It's like listening to it. Tommy Knockers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay.
I've not.
I loved the synopsis of it. Like someone just told me a quick plot of it, and I'm like, that sounds interesting. It's just about a crashed spaceship, and then a woman digs it up, and then she just starts experiencing these weird things like telepathy, and like she's super smart, but it's like hurting her in the end. And like I'm not even halfway through it, and like big things are happening. But I fell off that and switched to, and then we were talking about Wildlands earlier. I'm actually reading the original Rainbow Six.
Nice.
And that one's pretty entertaining too. So, but they're both like you said for your book, they're like 36 hours, 40 hours, something like that. And you're just like, man, how can someone just? It's such an exhausting. I feel like but I guess they're reading it. I guess if I read a book,
they'd probably do sessions.
Yeah, you would probably get through it a little bit quicker.
Well, that's why I say in comparison to the one I just finished, The Mistborn, that was only like 24 hours. So I tore through that in like a week in comparison to some of the other ones, which took me like, much longer. But I do enjoy the audiobook experience. I will say that a podcast I recently got turned on to is called LeVar Burton Reads, which is basically reading Rainbow for adults. And it's pretty interesting. He chooses a piece of short fiction. I think there's like 5 or 6 episodes out right now, but it's pretty decent. It's a good one.
If we're gonna plug podcasts, I gotta plug one real fast.
Yeah, do it.
There's a British podcast called the Beef and Dairy Network.
Yes, I've heard of it. Is it amusing?
It is hilarious. I mean, if you like super dry British comedy, which of course I do, but the thing I love most about this podcast is that it's compact. The episodes are always between 10 and 15 minutes.
Okay. Wow, that is short.
It's short, sweet, no fill. It's no filler. No filler, all killer. This is a hilarious podcast. And on top of that, they only put them out once a month. 15 minutes once a month. So
that reminds me of Did You Know, or like How It's Built and stuff like that, and it's just like these little 15-minute intervals of like stuff that you would never think of. I love it.
Yeah. It's just like that. It's just top-notch quality, and it's some funny shit. So
well, as long as we're shouting out stuff, one of my nephews here, How to Beat Beast 13. Go check out his channel, and he does some pretty cool stuff over there. So go
what's
check
it called?
Out. Just look up How to number 2 Be Beast 13.
Okay. Beast 13. I'm jotting it down now.
I got nothing.
Check it out.
I got nothing to shout out. I'm gonna shout out to my channel, Ironclad Meat Rag. I haven't uploaded anything in 6 months, but go ahead and subscribe and make my day.
I'm gonna shout out this channel because you're listening to it, and we appreciate it.
There you go.
Yeah, truly do. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it for us this week. I appreciate our viewers and listeners, and make sure you catch us next week as we delve deep into the gaming news we find entertaining. All that being said, we got to follow with a don't get caught.
And I love your faces.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Get out of my house.